What I want to talk about today is, those moments where you're trying to make a change in your life and you keep not making the change in your life. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm going to do such and such. And I make that commitment. And then, I'll do it for like a week and then I fall off. Or maybe I even do it for 6 weeks and then I fall off. And I want to talk about 3 steps to actually making, well, no, 4, sorry. 4 steps to actually making that thing stick, to actually making the change. And I say this because I had that hit me really hard at one point where I was addicted to Diet Coke for 30 some years. I started when I was like 13 years old. It was crazy. And I was addicted to it and I wanted to quit. I did. I wanted to quit that. I knew it wasn't good for me. I knew it wasn't good for my health. I knew that I was using it as an emotional thing. When I would stress out, I would drink a Diet Coke and that would make me feel better. It gave me some sense of control and certainty, right? And I just couldn't break that thing no matter what I did, seemingly. But I had to get into a place that I would actually be able to break that for good. And now I have not been drinking Diet Coke since last November. So we're several months in, 5 months in, something like that. And so I want to say this thing works. It just works. So here's the thing. Sometimes we want to change something. We're going to fall back into old habits. And it's not because we lack discipline. You can't will yourself into change sometimes. Like I'm just going to set this goal and like make it happen. And I'm going to have the right behavior and do the right things. It's not because of lack of discipline. It's because you haven't reached a point where change becomes a must. And I know I've talked before about what a must is, but I'm just going to repeat it. I really thought I had made things a must before. I thought, oh gosh, I need to do this. And then I just wouldn't follow through, right? But I got on with a trainer who said, can I give you a severe visual understanding of what a true must is? And he told me, hey, I'm going to come and I'm going to take your kids and I'm going to hold on to your children until you pay this X amount of dollars, several $1,000s. It was like $6,500 at the time is a goal that I was having. And if you don't reach it by December 1st, I get to keep your kids. And I remember it hit me in the gut. I mean, it hit me for 3 days of what a must actually feels like. Because you know what? Somebody's going to keep my kids. That's a must. I will move heaven and earth to make that happen so that I get to keep my kids. I will do anything for that thing. I will make it a must. So I want to give you 4 steps. Sorry, 4. My bad. I added a step. I wrote this earlier and then I'm like, no, I can't miss that. Number 1, you got to recognize the pattern, the thing that you keep redoing. Like for me, it was like, when I feel emotionally stressed out, when I feel like I can't handle something around me, I need to get my need for certainty met. And so I grab a Diet Coke, which I can totally control. And I guzzle that thing down and I get that jolt of caffeine and I feel pleasure instead of pain. And so I'm addicted because it's meeting my need for certainty. It's definitely giving me a sense of control and I can't seem to stop myself. And so I had to acknowledge, because you can't change what you won't acknowledge. Most of us, we run on autopilot. We're repeating behaviors that don't serve us. The first step to actually change is to actually say, this is what I'm continually doing. We have to identify the habit or belief that's holding us back. So I want to pause this a moment and say, what's one behavior you keep repeating that's not working for you? Let's think about that. For me, I kept drinking Diet Coke. It's not working for me. It causes inflammation. It causes gut rot, all kinds of problems. When does it happen? What triggers it? For me, it was a stressful situation where I was feeling out of control, or just darn habit. It was my sense of gaining control. It was something I could count on. Every morning I wake up and I have that waiting for me. Here's an example. If you procrastinate, what's triggering it? If you're procrastinating, what's triggering it? Is it fear? Is it overwhelm? So I just want you to write that one thing down for me. I'll give you a moment. And once you get that thing written down, we have to hit our threshold. The threshold is we're going to burn the boats. There's nothing left. We're going to get rid of anything that gives us an out. We're going to hit that threshold of saying, I have had enough. I will not tolerate this anymore. I am absolutely, unequivocally flipping done with this behavior, with this thing. Because you will get what you tolerate. So the action we need to do is connect the pain of not changing to the pleasure of actually changing and having that transformation you need. So consider these questions for a moment, would you? What will your life look like if you do not break this pattern? What will it look like in 6 months, in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years? For me, I envisioned many more years. I don't know. It could be in the hospital, dying, cancer. Pretty nasty. What'll happen if I don't change that? How will it affect my health, my relationships, my finances? My goodness, that Diet Coke was costing like probably 60, 80 bucks a month, something like that. It was a pricey bill. Take a moment. Let's reflect on that. What is your life, that thing that you wrote down? What is your life going to look like if you don't change? How will it affect your health, your relationships, your finances, your happiness? Now let's flip the script. What will your life look like when you do change? For me, I was thinking about, okay, that will lower the bill and give me more movable finances. It will open up all those finances. For me, it'll make my gut health better and me overwhelmingly much more healthy. Now think about this. If you're struggling with weight loss, you can imagine the long-term pain of staying unhealthy versus feeling strong and confident. We got to give ourselves enough pain to take us to a threshold. So really, it's what does this cost you in the past? What does this cost you right now? And what is this going to cost you if you don't change it right now? And you have to get into the place where you just take a deep breath and you say with power, I will not tolerate this anymore. I demand more of myself. I'm done. I'm not going to continue this anymore. Now, just considering the time, I'm going to move forward, but I'd like you guys to take good notes to actually walk yourself through this later. Now, the next step is to interrupt the pattern. And what I mean by that is like, okay, so I know this is like outdated at this point. We have digital music, but way, way long time in the past, we had those things called CDs, right? And you could play them over and over again in a pattern. Like I could play that song and play that song and play that song and play that song as much as I wanted. But say my stinking older brother came along and he took it out of there and he left it out and it's scratched. And it got scratched and now I can't play it. I have to get it redone, right? Or sometimes it gets scratched beyond all recognition. I want you to take that belief system and imagine that as a CD. And I want you to take something sharp and I want you to scratch the daylights out of that CD. You have to interrupt the pattern. If you don't interrupt the pattern, you will just keep running it automatically. This is what I do over and over again. I want to change this, but I just keep going back to my old programming. We have to do something radically to step us out of the old pattern. Means, for example, if you always hesitate before taking action, if you hesitate, you just say, I'm going. If you procrastinate, jump up, do 10 jumping jacks and say, I move fast. I'm going to go. If you get anxious, take a deep breath, smile, change your posture. We have to interrupt the pattern and it's physiology first, guys. If maybe your pattern is to be in anxiety, then, a lot of times our shoulders are forward and our head is down. You got to interrupt the pattern by putting your shoulders back, putting your head up, putting a smile on your face. Hello. So think through it. What's one way you can interrupt your pattern? For me, the visualization was plenty to interrupt my pattern of what this is costing in the past, what this is costing now, what this is going to cost in the future. And so I just plain needed to find a way to just stop it. I had to put something in its place. I had to do something different. to become a must. And then we have to interrupt those old patterns that you're just continually psyching on. You've got the same song playing over and over again, and we can't keep playing the same old song. And lastly, you can't just stop a bad habit. You have to replace it with a better one. For me, with a Diet Coke addiction, something about the bubbles, man. I love them darn bubbles. And so I changed it into bubbly water, like seltzer water. It's not got cancerous chemicals in it. It's not got fake sugars in it. It's not got, it's way healthier for me. And so I got to a threshold. I'm like, oh my God, this is like 30 years of like not changing this pattern. This is a coping mechanism for me. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I interrupted the pattern. I got to a threshold. I said, no more. I am done. I am changing this right now. So I scratched the CD up and I interrupted my own pattern. Now I have to create a new pattern. And so I changed seltzer water so I get the joy of the bubbly feeling, and I put something in differently. So you wrecked your CD, it's completely scratched up and it's unrecognizable. Now you get to put a fresh CD into your noggin, your player. Okay. So here's the thing, decide on a new behavior and make it a must. If you don't make it a must, there's always an excuse or a reason to get out of what you've committed to. It's just simply a lack of commitment. So what's the opposite of your old pattern? What is one simple action you can take today to move in the right direction? So here's some examples. You got a procrastination, old pattern of procrastination. You can put in the 5-second rule. And the 5-second rule is where I go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and now I must go. I must. Or what about negative self-talk? I've seen that. A new pattern. We're not going to say I can't, I won't, I do, I can't, I haven't, I don't, I wouldn't, I couldn't. We're going to actually switch that into what can I do? How can I believe? What's one thing I can do today? What is the direction I am going? Daily empowering affirmations. How am I going to show up? Who am I going to be? Or maybe it's unhealthy eating. Well, maybe we just have to interrupt the pattern and then create a new behavior of doing some meal prep, getting some accountability. So I want you to take a moment, and it really is a moment, to write down, my new pattern is, and I commit to it now. And I want you to start working through those 4 steps. Okay, so make sure you wrote them down. First of all, I got to realize I've got a pattern. I'm playing the same old song on recycle, repeat. Same old song, new day. I've got this same old song playing. Then I must get to a threshold. I have to say, oh my gosh, I am not tolerating this negative self-talk anymore. I'm done. I've had it. I am done. This is not bringing me where I need to go. This is not serving me well in my life. And then I have to interrupt the pattern. I have to scratch the daylights out of the CD so that song can't play anymore. So what is one thing you're actually going to do to interrupt that? And then you're going to find a new pattern. You're going to replace it with something that's empowering and healthy. So what is one change you're committing to today? Here's the thing. You don't need more time. You simply need a decision. The time is literally right now. Now, this year is about implementation, guys. This is all about how are we actually going to change. That's not enough. We actually have to make the change in our lives. We actually have to apply what we've learned. So what does the application look like today for you?